Precious Prodigy Peter Parker by concreteflour. Chapter 2. Tony's Lab with a Guest. Ned and Peter were just coming out of Midtown School of Science and Technology on a Friday afternoon. MJ was already on the front steps. "Hey loser," MJ said. "I think your ride is here," she finished while pointing out to the curb directly in front of the school. Both of the guys' heads swiveled in that direction. A black Audi with fully tinted windows was prominently displayed. But even more audacious was Tony Stark, in matching fully tinted sunglasses and black Armani suit, leaning up against the driver's door. The press of kids trying to exit the school stopped and gawked at the man before them. This was a school of science and technology. Tony Stark represented the pinnacle of most of their dreams in being able to bring science to life. Tony was the first to move. "Hey, Pete, come on, we've got a big weekend planned." Ned put his hand on Peter's shoulder. "Man, I would give anything for your life." Peter just smiled and hurried down the car. He hollered, "See you later, Ned. Have a good weekend, MJ," as he sprinted down the steps. Almost before he got his door shut, the Audi was moving. "Got a surprise for you today, kiddo," said Mr. Stark. "Oh," Peter said excitedly. "What is it?" "Now, if I told you that, it wouldn't be a surprise, would it?" "Oh, come on, Mr. Stark, you can't do that. A teenager is really bad these days when they're surprised." "Nope, this one is gonna be too good." After parking the Audi in the garage, Tony led Peter up to his private lab, just as Peter expected. What he didn't expect was for someone to be in the lab. Nobody was ever in Tony's lab, except for Tony, Peter, occasionally Rhodey, and when they were in trouble, Pepper. The man in a white lab coat turned around as the vacuum-sealed door whooshed open. Peter froze in his steps. "OMG, you're Bruce Banner!" "Yes," sighed the man. You're the most renowned scientist of our age. Wow, I get to meet Bruce Banner." Tony laughed. "Pete, I knew you were a fanboy, but try to breathe and not pass out, okay?" "But Tony, Dr. Banner is preeminent researcher for both nuclear physics and gamma radiation." Peter turned to face Dr. Banner. "I've read all of your papers. I just have a million questions. Please, Dr. Banner." What followed was over 2 hours of relentless questioning by a high school sophomore to someone with 7 PhDs. Dr. Banner couldn't help but smile, as he rarely got to talk about his non-Hulk life anymore. Peter rapid-fired questions about biomedical conversion of the gamma particles, matter-energy conversion from the 180-pound Dr. Banner to the 400-pound Hulk, and what provided the energy. Did the Hulk have to supply the energy, or was it some form of matter-energy-matter conversion? Did Hulk absorb energy from around him? Did that provide power to further heighten his invulnerability? Since Hulk was able to speak English, there had been some transference of knowledge between the two. Was Dr. Banner able to measure the strength and depth of any link? "Hey Pete, you know I'm right here, right?" Tony said. "You have never freaked out this much since you met me." "But Mr. Stark, I get to work with you every week, but I'm getting to actually meet Dr. Banner for the first time. And for the record, I did fanboy out on you for the first time we met. You just didn't know it at the time. It was years before you think we met." "I'm confused. We met when I tracked you down at your place in Queens," Tony said with a pinched, painful look. "I first met you at the Stark Expo 9 years ago, the time the hammer drones attacked. I was about to blast a drone when you showed up." Tony had his eyes pinched shut while he tried to remember. "You wore an Iron Man mask. That was you?" "Yeah, you blasted a drone that had me targeted." "Oh my god," Tony said. "I can literally trace my first grey hair to that moment. You really are going to be the death of me. You know that, kiddo." "Plus, I have fanboyed a lot since then. Just ask Aunt May." "Nope. The less conversations I have with Aunt Hottie, the better. She scares me," Tony replied. Bruce chuckled.
You're scared of his aunt? Brucey baby, she would scare even your other guy.
Before too long, it was time for Peter to head home for the night. Happy was going to drive him home. Tony and Bruce went up for a cup of coffee and to unwind a bit. Bruce held his steaming cup and turned to Tony.
Tony, just how smart is that kid? Genius, I'm pretty sure. Obviously, I haven't had a chance to test him. Hell, I don't even know of a test that could. There might not be, Bruce said, rubbing his chin. He was asking me questions I never would have considered at his age. Heck, I wouldn't have considered some of those in my graduate courses. Is gamma radiation or biomedical engineering his chosen field? You know what? I don't know. I was impressed with the kid at first because he made up the spider webs he developed for Spider-Man. I still haven't fully improved on those. But thinking about it, he has worked on Nat's widow bites, designed new arrowheads for Clint and helped me with my suit. I don't really know what his favourite is, and he is good at everything. I mean, that covers chemistry, electronics, engineering, metallurgy, plus what he works on in his own lab while I'm not there. The kid has his own lab? Bruce asked, incredulous. Yeah, for his own projects, and to keep him out of my lab when I'm not there. Bruce stared at Tony. I've always had to share with you. I've never gotten my own lab. The kid is here 3 days a week or more. You're here a few times a year sometimes. Do you have any idea what he works on when you're not here? Not really, but Friday keeps track of everything and wouldn't allow anything overly dangerous to go on. Right, Friday?
Yes, boss. I am most diligent in observing the safety rules of the labs when Mr. Parker is here.
See, Bruce, it's all good, Tony said with a grin. Bruce turned to look at the ceiling. Friday, do you have a list of the projects that Peter is working on?
Banner, Friday replied. Peter currently has 138 projects in various stages of completion. Would you like to see a list? Even before they could reply, a list generated on a screen Friday made holographically. Automatically, both men started scrolling through the list. Look at this, that's DNA mapping and sequencing of genetic material, Bruce started. And this is different ways to combine vibranium. And this is definitely power conversion rates for some kind of storage device that I've never seen. Yeah, and this looks like at least 14 upgrades to the programming for Karen. Some really interesting updates, actually. Friday, have these been installed already? 9 of the Karen upgrades have been tested and installed, boss.
Who's Karen? Bruce asked. Karen is an AI developed to help Spider-Man. He's a local enhanced vigilante that I've worked with a few times. Tony replied.
It was Tony's turn to rub his chin.
Any issues with performance, Friday?
The actual performance of the integration of Spider-Man and Karen has reduced response time by 15% and compatibility by 25%. Karen is able to be more accurately predict requests from Spider-Man based on his prior situations and have choices available sometimes before Spider-Man can ask.
Tony turned between Bruce and the ceiling. Why haven't you kept me informed, Friday?
Sir, Friday replied with a hint of remorse. I was instructed to monitor for unsafe practices and for projects that were inherently dangerous. None of Mr. Parker's projects are, by themselves, dangerous. His safety protocols are sufficient, and he provides pre-planning for eventual accidents, which occur fully 30% less than accidents do in the main lab, and he has worked well with Dummy to quickly resolve any accident.
Dummy helps him too? Tony asked.
Yes, sir. Your robots seem to be very anxious to help Mr. Parker when he is here. In particular, Dummy is extraordinarily observant and helpful with any project that Mr. Parker is working on.
This the same Dummy that filled up the Porsche with liquid foam when I sparked the fuse box last week? Tony asked.
Yes, sir.
Bruce was openly laughing now. Tony, I think you have a little Tony working with you and you didn't even know it. How's it feel to be on the other side of all that brilliance? I think I need to find out just how smart the kid is. And quick. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this chapter. Have a lovely rest of your day.